elements, minerals, that are on the periodic table, certain ones of them will bind and they'll take other ones out. Like, for example, silicon. It builds bone and connective tissue, but it will literally detoxify aluminum. And when you detoxify aluminum, aluminum causes Alzheimer's and inflammation. So once again, silicon is a mineral element. It binds and removes it. But if you have high amounts of aluminum, once again, it competes with silicon. So these types of minerals, once again, boron, we use that a lot for building bone, decreases pain. These minerals on the periodic table will bind to some of the toxic heavy metals and help remove them out of the body. SAMe, lots of studies on SAMe with depression, but there are also studies. 800 milligrams reduced pain significantly because it increases chondrocytes, cartilage cells actually in the joints themselves. It's very good for the liver, and it raises helps you metabolize the serotonin that you produce. So very helpful for arthritic types of pain reduction. Last but not least, and I don't mean to put these last, it's only, I want to review for the other things. There are so many good homeopathic medicines, such as like Arnica montana. If I ban myself, I'm doing Arnica in my mouth and Arnica gel. I mean, it really does help. Nux vomica. There are some real pain-relieving ones out there for nerve pain. You can look them up online specifically, or if you've got a homeopathic doctor, that are very helpful, that will help the body work within itself. It actually almost works on the theory of vaccines. So very safe, very effective, and can be taken with all medications. Most of these can. There's very few exceptions on here other than maybe some of the blood thinning properties of turmeric. You have to be mindful of that. I hope this helps. Once again, this is not a complete list, but it gives you a good idea about what we're going with and what's out there. Research. Next, we're going to be moving on to the fitness portion of the show. Thank you. Hi, welcome to the fitness portion of our show. And back by popular demand, I showed this exercise about a year ago, and I'm going to show it again because I had customer requests for it all week long, and I kind of thought, you know what, I'm going to show this one. This is for sciatica pain, and it can be very, very helpful. I was shown this exercise by a sports medicine doctor when I had chronic sciatica for about 2 years. And actually, it started happening to me again this week, naturally. And so I started doing the exercise again, and then I had customers asking for it, so here we go. What we do is we get in a 90-degree angle up against a wall, and obviously I don't have the benefit of a wall, so we're using a chair temporarily. What you do is you're going to push in with one leg into the wall fairly firmly, and then you're going to put your hand here, and you're going to resist like this. Okay, so I'm resisting here while I'm pushing here, and you're going to hold that like for 30 seconds, okay? Then you switch, do the same thing. Push up against the wall on the opposite leg, resist with the other section. You're going to do that for 2 or 3 sets for about 30 seconds at a time. I would say probably 2 to 3 times a day, and I think you're going to see some helpful release. That, and keep your magnesium levels to relax those muscles. Thank you, and next we're going to be moving on to the research portion of our show. Thanks. Hi, welcome to the research portion of our show, and with us today again is Ralph Turgeon.
Thank you for that intro. What if I told you your 2 through 8-year-old child had the arteries or vascular system of a 45-year-old? Would you be concerned? Would you want to know why? Now, what if I told you that maybe as much as 1 in every 2 children do? Well, maybe not that extreme with the arterial system, but as far as chronic health conditions, yes. In the United States, according to the February 17th Journal of American Medical Association, 1 in every 2 children between the ages of 2 through 8 in the United States has a chronic health condition. Chronic health condition being defined as a condition that lasts for over a year. Now, a lot of these conditions can be type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, ADD, obesity, allergies, you name it down the line. The good news is a lot of these conditions can be cursory, meaning they could go away after about a year or so. However, though, it does issue a major warning to the American public that something is wrong with our children. Are we being overdiagnosed for these diseases, or do they actually exist? In either case, that spurs that there is a problem. Never in history have 50% of children before the age of 8 begin to have chronic health conditions. We're not even talking 9 through 18. We're just talking 2 through 8. And again, basically they said, the doctor said in the studies that they already are like 45-year-olds in terms of the blood vessels' health. We need a basic change in how we live and how we eat. Prevention is the key. And when they looked at obesity, they only considered obesity the 95th percentile, which is an extremely high qualifier. So basically, the figure may even be more than that, and it can be pushed down a little conservatively because it begins to seem extreme. But this is the U.S. 1 and 2, February 17th, Journal of American Medical Association. I apologize. So we really got to start taking a look at the health of our kids. So please, start looking at what they eat and how much physical activity they get at the same time. Outside of that, a very common spice in India and China, and this was reported at St. Louis University. It's something called bitter melon. Well, what does bitter melon mean? And some people may recognize bitter melon as far as diabetic, because bitter melon seems to help control blood sugars. But what does bitter melon mean to you, especially if you're a female? Well, they found out bitter melon attacks breast cancer cells. How effectively does it attack breast cancer cells? Well, let's take a quote from the article. Our result was encouraging. We have shown that bitter melon extract significantly induced death in breast cancer cells and decreased the growth and their spread. Sounds important. Now keep in mind though, this first test with bitter melon was done in vitro, meaning it was done in a test tube. So there's still a little bit of time to do some animal studies and human studies, provided they actually get the money and funding to do it. Unfortunately, there's usually not a lot of money in researching things which are available to everyone or that you can't patent. But it is promising. She also cautioned against seeing bitter melon extract as a miracle cure for breast cancer. Now, however, they said, cancer prevention by the use of a naturally occurring dietary substance is considered a practical approach to reduce the ever-increasing incidence of cancer. Studying a higher-risk breast cancer population where bitter melon is taken as a dietary product will be an important area of future research. Well, it shouldn't be future research. It should be research now. Very promising. Now, for all those green tea drinkers, well, you've probably been seeing things in the right light, at least when it comes to your eyes. They discovered that green tea has an incredible impact at protecting the vision. Now, this came out of basically the Biweekly Journal of Agriculture and Food Chemistry. It should be coming out of other journals too shortly. Scientists have confirmed that the active components in green tea, specifically the catechins, do penetrate into the tissue of the eye. And they said, quote unquote, the so-called green tea catechins have been among a number of antioxidants thought capable of protecting the eye, including vitamin C, vitamin E, lutein, zeaxanthin. Until now, however, nobody knew if the catechins in green tea actually passed from the stomach, the gastrointestinal tract, into the tissue of the eye. Well, they now confirmed it did. They said the effects of green tea catechins, this is amazing, in reducing harmful oxidative stress in the eye lasted up to 20 hours. That means that that one glass of green tea you take in the morning is protecting you for a large portion of the day. Our results indicate that green tea consumption could benefit the eye against oxidative stress, which is great because now that goes in combination with lutein, vitamin A, bilberry, zeaxanthin. A lot of things can improve eye health. Green tea is a simple one. Glaucoma, cataract. If you're concerned about it, why not? It's simple and it beats soda, unless they carbonate it. All right, now for those Now, what if I told you, and I'm going to admit what the substance is in the first line. When they looked at animals with ischemic stroke, they gave them a substance. Now, imagine if this was in the Wall Street Journal or something like that, that showed, when they gave them the substance, grew new blood vessels in the brain, sprouted new nerve cells, and it greatly improved neurological outcome. You'd be buying stock in it by tomorrow, whether it be phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3 clinical studies. But you don't have to worry about that. It's available and it's cheap. It's something called vitamin B3 or niacin. And keep in mind, not too long ago, niacinamide was also shown to help with Alzheimer's. But since it's important, I'm going to read a few quotes from the article again. Again, I try to quote as much from the study as possible so I don't bias or prejudice it. They said, Dr. Chop's research found that in animals, niacin increased good cholesterol. Most of us know that about niacin, which increased blood vessels in the brain and axonal and dendritic growth, leading to a substantial improvement in neurological function. Niacin, this is quote unquote again, essentially rewires the brain, which has a very exciting potential for use in humans. The result of the study may also open other doors into neurological medicine, including brain injury. It says, if we are able to prove that treating patients with niacin helps to restore neurological function after stroke, we're opening a whole new avenue of treatment for leading causes of serious long-term disability in adults. This is a tool that you guys can use, something that's very non-toxic, easy to use. Keep in mind though, if you do try to use niacin on your own, and it's not no flush niacin or niacinamide, it does cause you to become red and patchy as it opens up the capillaries and make you feel itchy. So if you've never taken niacin before and you do, keep in mind you can get a flush. In fact, most likely you will. So keep the dosage low and increase it according to your tolerance. Now, back to why our children may not be as healthy as they may. Well, let's look at bisphenol A. At the University of Texas Medical Branch at Galveston, they discovered that BPA is leaking everywhere, and that damages the behavior, brain, prostate gland of fetuses, infants, and include young protein. But more so than ever, it causes asthma. What they did is they took animals and exposed them to BPA and then gave them egg album as they were developing, or egg white protein. All right, what they found is this. All 4 of their indicators for asthma showed up in the BPA group, much more than any other group that with no BPA. So their control group did not have the problem. They said, quote unquote, Cheryl Watson, the co-author of the study, described how adding small amounts of environmental estrogen, such as those in BPA, into cultures of human mast cells or mouse mast cells, common immune cells packed with allergic response, including chemicals such as histamine, produce a sudden release of allergy-promoting substances. I'm going to rush through this because another one on BPA, and that's according to children growing up, either in plastic bottles or pregnant women. They found out that this BPA causes you hypersensitivity to estrogens themselves, leading to everything to fertility problems, advanced puberty, altered mammary development, and reproductive function. That out of Yale University itself. This gives you correlating information between 2 different studies. If you're pregnant or have a child, get BPA out of their diet. And thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ralph. Remember, keep the plastics down and use more ceramics and glass. Thank you very much for joining our show. Research, find out for yourself. Thank you.